Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you, and I'm you too. My range. My reach. Oh, family friendly. The album, Dad. I'm YouTube famous now, in case you didn't know. Anyway, the album, Dad. AF. Every rose has its thorn, just like every night has its dawn. I was actually thinking, because I put this tweet out and I said it was probably my most active tweet I have ever had on Twitter, ever in a million years. And I said something about Shane Dawson. Hold on, what did I say? I said, like, Shane Dawson needs to defend his friend, period. You guys, I got 254 comments, or in the Twitter thread, 271 retweets, and 6,589 likes on that tweet. That's the most likes I think I've ever gotten on a tweet in my entire life. Oh wait, I also said something else about the whole Trisha situation. That one got 3794. Oh my. Oh, this one, You're the Company You Keep, it got 1,229. I think I need to be more active on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram, because this year I'm getting real active over there. I've been pretty active on my Instagram lately. But anyway, I was thinking to myself about this, whole thing with Trisha and Shane, and how Shane won't come out. And it's interesting because there were kind of opposing views about all this stuff. No, this is not what this video is about. This video is about Shane Dawson's next project being exposed. Okay, and what it's going to be and what I think it's going to be. So anyway, and I asked you guys what you thought it was going to be, and a lot of you responded, and I want to talk about that. So anyway, but I was thinking about this whole thing because there were a lot of people that were like, why should Shane Dawson come out now and defend his friend? A lot of people, which I totally understand, were like, if he has to be told through social media to defend his friend, then no, he shouldn't come out. And I totally understand that as well, because then we would all be getting on video and saying that Shane Dawson is just doing it because everybody told him to, which I totally agree, okay? So, but I still do stand by my statement that Shane Dawson should come out and defend his friend, Trisha Paytas, right? And this is why. Shane Dawson has come out and on his Instagram story and sold his merch and talked about sales of his merch. He has talked about Ryland's podcast. He's even put on there how proud he is of Jeffree Star on releases, right? Since he has taken his hiatus from YouTube and everything else. So in the midst of all of this, for him to come out and just put something simple out, all he would have had to have done was taking, like, a picture, a black screen on his Instagram story, and then just put, like, I feel really bad for Trisha, she didn't deserve this, period, okay? Anything on there, just to say something, to address it in any kind of way, tells you that the times that he is willing to put stuff up there is if he's making money or if he's supporting his husband, which I think kind of plays into all of this. But I was sitting there and I was like, what would be something that Shane could do that would make it all make sense? And all he would have to do is put out Poison's song. He would just have to put a link to Poison's song. Every rose has its thorn. Was it something I said or something I did? Yes, it was something you said and something that you did. And it was something that you didn't say and something that you didn't do. So all he would have had to have done was put a link on that song. And then Trisha would have understood, because I think she understands a lot from music. So, I mean, it was really simple. Shane didn't have to do a whole lot with this. Yes, I am joking, but I do love that song so much. You know what else? I've been listening to all the Rose songs, okay? Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison, one of my favorite songs of life. I love that song. But I've also been listening to The Rose by Bette Midler. I had forgotten all about that song. And then last night I was driving home and I found a news station on Sirius that I love. I can't remember what it is. But they play all this, like, new age, alternative, The Smiths, The Cure, Susie and the Banshees. What else did they play today? I was listening to it. All the music I listened to when I was in high school, they played on the station. But there's another station, it's just called Love. Don't you love to be in love? I love to be in love. But anyway, it's just called Love, and they played Bette Midler's The Rose on there last night, and I was singing at the top of my lungs in my car. You could not tell me I was not Bette Midler. I thought I was. I love that part where she gets, like, really loud at the very end. That's when your diva moment, okay? Everybody has a diva moment when you're walking around your house or in your car and you're singing. We all have those diva moments to songs, okay? What's your diva moment song? Put it in the comment section below. All right, so let's get into this Shane Dawson project thing. Now, here's the thing. Trisha came out in this video and talked about how she was distancing herself and she just wanted to move on from Shane Dawson, and that she, you know, had blocked him or unfollowed and blocked him, all this kind of stuff. But in that video, she also said that Shane has a project coming out and that he will recover from everything, right? Okay, well, this was interesting to me, and I've been thinking about it in my head. It's been going around. I've been like, okay, what is this project? And then the first thing that occurred to me, before I put my tweet out asking all of you, was that anything that Shane or Trisha would refer to as a project is first and foremost problematic. And the reason why is, I think anything less than Shane Dawson honestly just reaching across, turning on a camera and saying, hey, listen, you guys, like, it's been months at this point. I haven't come out, I haven't addressed any of this kind of stuff, but I have been working on myself, and I wanted to just talk to you. I miss you guys. I miss making videos. Take accountability for his actions. And in a heartfelt, really genuine way that we can tell that he's being honest, right? Just put that up there and then say, and I'm going to continue to make videos, and I hope that you'll follow me, whatever, but, you know, this is me having to address these things. Anything less than that is because his ego, arrogance, pride stands in the way of allowing him to do that, okay? So the fact that he's coming back on what is called a project is like he's been in this house putting together this project that he thinks is going to redeem him. Now, in the last couple weeks, there's been a lot of discussion about what Shane Dawson is going to come back on, and I've even said in videos that I didn't believe that he was going to come back with some huge documentary. A lot of people are saying that he's going to do a documentary and talk about cancel culture. A lot of people are saying he's going to do a documentary talking about how much he's worked on himself. A lot of people said that it's going to be a wedding documentary. I think I even talked about that at one point. And then some people, and I think myself, also speculated that it could be a horror movie that he'd been talking about. People are also saying it could be an autobiography that he's writing. All of these things are interesting to me, and I have to tell you, I think it's a combination of a couple of these things. Whereas before, I didn't think that he would put out a documentary. When Trisha came out and said that it's a project, I was like, okay, this is a thought-out thing that he is doing, and he has to do it in a way that he can win back favor with his audience, but also in a way that he doesn't victimize himself, but a way that is humanizing, a way that he can take accountability for his actions, but also be relatable to other people, okay? It's not a horror movie. He's not going to just come out with that, because I think that people would be like, seriously, this is what, you're not going to even address any of the things, you're just going to come back on this. So it's not that. My concern about him coming back and just doing a wedding video, because a lot of people are saying it's that, is I think that the majority of people would look through that and see, this is emotionally manipulating, okay? This is total emotional manipulation, that your video back that you're putting up is just your wedding video, and so you're just going to put this up there and then everybody's going to watch it because they're going to want to see your wedding. But the thing is I don't think that's enough to change anything. I think people would watch it, and then they would, the majority of people would still have their same feelings about Shane Dawson. If those people have, I'm not talking about the stands and the fans and all of you out there that love Shane Dawson and will always love Shane Dawson. I'm talking about the people that have left, okay? Apparently he lost like 100,000 followers yesterday or something like that, just off of what Trisha had said, or the day before. I didn't check, honestly. So I guess I could probably check that. So anyway, then then people were talking about it, you know, possibly being this documentary series of cancel culture and all this kind of stuff. The thing is, if he does that, he can't come back and do that in a way that, I mean, and people were saying he might bring in other people and whatever. Okay, then what he's saying is, I didn't deserve what happened to me, okay? And if he victimizes himself in any kind of way, people will let him have it. It will even make things worse for him. Shane is not stupid. Shane knows what he's doing, right? So it's kind of interesting then. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, well, then it probably has to be something that none of us are thinking about. So I was driving, well, right after I had posted that, I was like driving around and I was thinking to myself, okay, what is this going to be? And I pulled into the post office and I tweeted out, I got it figured out. I know what it's going to be. Now, I could be completely wrong, and I will, of course, eat my words when it comes out that Shane Dawson has done something completely different. Yeah, he lost 100,000 subscribers on Sunday, and 200,000 in the last 28 days. So, I mean, he is still, you guys, getting 8 million video views a month. I mean, people are still watching his videos. Every day he's getting between 100 and he's already at 106,000. I mean, that's a great amount of views for a day. To 300,000 views a day on his videos. I mean, his channel is not suffering. He's still getting views on there. Not what he used to get, but he's still getting views. So I was like, I think I have it figured out. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I want to go in here and I want to read some of what you guys had to say, and we'll see if we're right down the road, right? So, hold on a second. Okay, had the book club yesterday about Casey Anthony. Thank you for everybody that attended the book club. We had a great time. Okay, what do you think Shane's project is going to be? Might use your answer for a video. So I'm just going to go through here, and I'm going to read some of the comments. Hey, Tiandra, she said his wedding. No one wants or cares to see. He clearly isn't in counseling. Someone said it's going to be about cancel culture. I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's going to be about cancel culture featuring Tati, James, and Trisha, or about spooky stuff. Tati is not going to be in a video with Shane Dawson. I mean, Tati is involved in some very, very serious lawsuits, okay? If people think that she's really, at this point, going to get in a video with Shane Dawson to help Shane Dawson, she's not going to do that. Anybody that thinks that this is a cultural experiment at this point, like, your faith in Shane Dawson is beyond. I can't even really believe that people would really honestly think that they would put their careers on a line for a cultural experiment. This is not a cultural experiment. And quite frankly, we gave Shane Dawson way too much credit back in the day on 2 counts. Number one, that was a Netflix series that just was, no, it's not. I watched my fair share of Netflix series, and in retrospect, I retract that statement. It's not a Netflix series. Number two, none of them were that fine, okay? And number two, the fact that we granted that he was a genius enough that he would do some huge social experiment and be able to pull it off with all these people. We are the geniuses for coming up with that ideas, or you are the geniuses for coming up with that idea, but he didn't do that. He couldn't have gotten those people to do that social experiment, and that's the truth. Hannah said, I'm thinking people are right about the wedding thing. Whatever it is, if it's not an apology, I'm so over him. I've already unsubscribed. Okay, Carol said, whatever it is, I won't be watching. KV Lucky said, maybe just do a sit-down video, no editing, just raw and explain everything. But that wouldn't be considered a project, okay? That would just be like, hey, Trisha, I got to make this video when I come back. But nobody would be referring to that as a project, right? Brianna said, I think it'll be about the demon in his house, the redheaded girl. I don't know anything about that. It won't be about, he won't come back with something like that. I mean, he knows he has to come back and in some way address what people's concerns are. He knows he has to do that. He will be eaten alive if he doesn't. Yes, there will be the fans in the stands that will watch. We'll all watch. I'll watch it and comment on it. I'm as a drama commentary channel, whatever he posts, I will be watching and commenting on. But he knows he can't just come back with something and be like, oh, hey, I'm back and I'm throwing up a conspiracy video. People will let him have it. If he was going to do that, he would have done that 6 months ago. You know what I mean? He's not going to do that. Somebody said definitely a movie. I remember him saying something about a movie, and I heard it also. That's what I thought, and I heard it from Trisha, too, in one of her videos. Also, he said that the day he is going to retire, he's going to be behind the camera because he loves directing, production, etc. I actually think Shane is too arrogant to be behind the camera 100% of the time. If he wasn't, then we wouldn't see these clips or this voice in Ryland's podcast and Morgan, the vlogs and stuff like that. He cannot keep himself from being in front of the camera. Maria said some kind of series, and if they did get married, you know the wedding between him and Ryland will be in there somewhere. Okay, I don't believe it's a series, but I do believe it's going to be a documentary. It's going to be a one and done, is what I think. Probably wedding planning or something like it, said Audie. Kelly said probably content about the wedding and cancel culture, but honestly, who's going to watch it? Kelly, I'm kind of in the same area as you. Let's see. Ashley said, I think it's going to be into his childhood and trauma, then using that as a reflection point of why he did those things. I think that's going to be part of it. Let me go down here and read some of the other comments. Get down, because there were so many. Asha said, a makeup collab, LMAO. Let's see. A lot of people are saying that it will be about Jeffree Star again. It won't be about Jeffree Star. I don't even think Jeffree Star will be in it. Sarah said, follow up on the ghost living in his house. I mean, if he comes back with something just so, just simple like that, he's really, really not reading the room. Someone else said, Zoe said, I think it will be something related to mental health awareness and cancel culture. But it's going to depend on how he does it, because if he does that, I mean, even if he makes it just all about himself, he's going to have to get awfully vulnerable, right? And he can't, like I'm saying again about the cancel culture thing, he can't say like, I am a victim of cancel culture. If he comes on there and says that, you guys, people are going to be like, I don't care. Like, you're not taking any accountability. He knows that. He knows he can't get on there and just do a documentary about cancel culture. And you have to remember, this is 10 years of videos that he's done. So we can't say that, oh, he was planning this 10 years ago to do this social experiment about cancel culture. Anyway, let's see. Maybe it's that movie he was writing to Kelsey. And when you go through here, people are saying that it's all about cancel culture, the wedding, or a documentary about what's been going on with him and his growth in the last year. So I took lots of notes, okay? Last night I pulled into the post office parking lot and I took all of these notes. And so I want to run it by you because I think that I know what he's going to do. At the top of this, I'm just going to read parts of this because you can see it, you guys. I have so many notes. Can you see? Okay, at the top, I said, people who love Shane will watch and want to forgive him. And this is the thing that he is banking on, okay? Shane knows that there is a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there that still love him, okay? In any of the threads that I do, you know, like people will say, like, you know, I understand that you don't like Shane, but blah, 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 whatever this. I have no personal attachment to the man, okay? I know that's hard for you to believe because you do have a personal attachment to the man, but I don't, okay? But people will go in there and they'll defend him and they'll say, you know, I understand that he did this, but I still love Shane. Or Shane got me through a hard part. Shane is banking on the fact that he still has a huge following out there of people that are waiting to see what his next move is going to be, okay? They're also waiting for Shane to serve them on a silver platter an excuse for why they should forgive him. He knows that. Really, all he has to do is serve up the excuse on a silver platter, a project, and give it to them. If he gives them an excuse that is good enough, that is relatable enough, that people can look at it and go, wow, I relate to that. Like, I've been there, okay? I can't judge Shane if I'm not going to judge myself. Then you know what? I have to forgive him and move on. But it's going to have to be something that's profound enough for him to be able to do that in a way that people will, first of all, stay interested. Second of all, they won't see it as arrogant and egotistic, okay? And that he takes accountability, but also is humble enough that makes him look like a human being. Well, can he pull that off? I think that Shane Dawson is egotistic enough that, yes, I do think that he can pull it off. And this is what I think he's going to do. And this is the reason why I think it's important that we start talking about what this could possibly be, okay? It has been proven that Shane Dawson has been extremely manipulative of his audience, okay, on an emotional level. I think that it's important that Shane Dawson be held accountable, okay, for what he's going to do next. And if we see that there's emotional manipulation in that, for people to say, hey, this ain't it, Shane. You didn't take full accountability for all. You don't really understand, okay, the impact of how you affected people. And when I'm by people I'm talking about are the tons and tons of people that have commented and said, I am so disappointed in him. I loved him. I can't go on and continue to support him. So this is what I think that he'll do. I think that the whole thing will start off, okay? And this part is just speculative. This might not be it, but he'll do some fancy editing through this whole thing. We already know that, right? He will do something where at the beginning of it, he just reaches over and turns on the camera, and it's very humanizing, okay? And he'll say something about, like, hey, you guys, like, it's been a long time. Like, I've missed you. You know, like, you guys know I have things I need to say. There are a lot of things I need to address. He'll get very, very human about having been canceled and all the things that came up, and he'll just kind of address it real lightly at the beginning of it, right? And he'll say, but I think that to understand really what happened and what I've been working on, we've got to go back to the beginning. And then I think what he'll do is he'll flash through and show clips of maybe like a docuseries or something. And then I think he'll go and like go through all these videos from his past, videos he's been called out on, videos that he's proud of. And I think it'll go all the way back to his very first video, and it'll show like a clip of what he's doing, like at the his very first words on video. It'll be something like that, right? And then I think he'll come back and he'll talk, and this will all be interspersed. This is a really important part. This will all be interspersed with family video of he and Ryland and the pets and Morgan being there and helping Ryland with the podcast. I think that's why he's been behind the scenes a lot, because I think he's been filming some of this, helping with the podcast. I think the family, the holidays, things like that. I think all of that will be filmed and will be part of this documentary, and that will be interspersed with Shane talking about his career on YouTube. And what he'll basically talk about is that he's been in counseling and he's been working on himself. I think he'll even maybe show clips of that. I think he'll talk about this abuse that he has talked about in the past, and I think he'll address it. I think he'll get very, very vulnerable, and I think that Shane knows that there are things that he has to do to get very real or appear very real, and I think he will address those things and talk about that stuff. And I hope he does it in a way, honestly, for the people that do love him, that is teachable and helpable to them. I really, really do. So we'll see, but I think he'll address those things, and I think he'll even have his mom on there, and I think that he'll talk with his mom about his childhood and what happened, and it won't be like a feel sorry for me kind of thing. I think it will be more of like an explanation of why when he started YouTube, he was somebody that was so hungry for the power and the fame and the notoriety and the pats on the back and the validation, because one of the things that we do know about Shane is that he has really, really wanted that validation his entire time on YouTube. And I know that for a fact because when I commented on the Tana Mojo TanaCon video, he was quick to jump into my DMs and say, I have been criticized my entire career on YouTube. Can you please let me have my moment, right? So we know that that moment, that time in the spotlight or the shine for Shane Dawson is very, very important. That's what he has been, craving since the beginning of being on YouTube, right? I don't fault him for that. I think that's a lot of why people get on YouTube. I think that he'll go in and he'll explain a lot of his humor and he'll say it was in poor taste. I think he'll take complete accountability for the things. I do think that he'll address them individually. I really, really do. I think he'll go on there and he will say, like, all of it was just me at the time pandering to what the humor was and that it was completely inappropriate. I take full accountability for it. I do not want to be that person today. I am working very, very hard on changing. He'll say the right words. He'll say the right words, okay? And I think that it'll show that through his career, all he's really wanted to do is be somebody, because he's talked about being the kid that was heavier. I relate to that. We already know, like, if you've seen his coming out video, that was a very powerful video. I think he'll address the kid that was heavier and had all these issues and didn't really love himself deep down inside, and that's why he was asking for acceptance to other. That's the relatable part. I think most of us on some level can relate to that. And then I think that it will kind of pull it up to present day and how he started getting like a lot of popularity off of these videos, and for a moment it felt really good and he finally thought that he was doing things right and he started hurting people around him. I don't think that he'll bring Trisha and Jeffrey into that unless it's already filmed in part of it, but I would really be surprised. I don't think he's going to address that at all because I don't think it's pertinent to what is going on in this project, if that makes sense. The project is to get Shane back in the people's eye, okay? But the way that he wants to continue, that's important too, okay? That Shane wants to be able to continue and do things the way that he wants to and not have to really answer to anybody or excuse it away in the future. So I think that he'll do all this, and of course this is all interspersed with the family stuff. And then I think that he'll come back at the end and he'll say, it's been really hard this last 6 months. Like, I'm passionate about YouTube. YouTube has always made me realize, that how hard I work, and I've always loved making film and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's you guys that are important. You're the ones that make me happy. And it took me losing that to realize how important my relationship is with you guys. And then I think he'll say something to the effect of he will play Ryland up to be the greatest thing in the world, and that he didn't really ever love himself until he was with Ryland, and that Ryland's family has accepted him, and for the first time ever with the pets and Ryland and everybody, he has a family, right? He'll say something to that effect. And I think that he will say, now he feels like a full person and he realizes that what's important in life is being surrounded by the people that love you and support you, which is Ryland, the pets, and his small extended family. Which is why the clips will show all of that. And then I think that he'll, say, I still want to make videos. You guys are really, really important to me. I have been working on myself. I don't want to be the person that I was, but today I realize that the person I have to make most important is the people around me and myself. I think he'll end it with the wedding, and then I think that they'll reach over or something and turn it off. And it'll be that. It will be like a very human documentary of what happened from the very beginning to get me where I'm at today. It will be very much Manny coming out and saying, my social blade might be in the red, but my personal life is in the green, right? Except who knows if his personal life is in the green, but I think that's what it will be. And he'll show a lot of the personal life in the green, and he'll show the social blade in the red, and he'll address why that happened, and he'll bring the two together cohesively and show the wedding. The thing is with the wedding, okay, people are speculating that they're already married. I don't know, okay? Probably. There's been enough slips now where people have said husband this and husband that. It's happened so many times. They probably are. But the thing is that if they are, and they haven't just announced it, I don't know why Shane or Ryland wouldn't just put up like an Instagram post, like happiest day of my life, right? Which means then that they're waiting to use that footage for a project. If he comes out and just does a wedding video, I just have to believe that so many people will be like, you seriously used your wedding as your comeback video? Like, that's pretty egotistic to do something like that. Plus, it's not fair to Ryland, so I don't think that he'll do that. I think it'll be a piece of that. He's always used his, because if you guys remember back in the day, he said that Ryland was his boyfriend, but he wasn't going to be doing boyfriend tags and bringing Ryland in a bunch of videos. Woo, that changed real quick, didn't it? So anyway, he has used Ryland as a point of reference in his series that he's done, you know, to humanize it and to make it a part of that. And he'll do this in the same way. I want to go through my notes and see what else I said. I'll just read you guys my notes. He'll rewind footage of the documentaries, go back to the years before that to his very first video. He'll mix it with footage of him and Ryland and how he couldn't really be himself until he met Ryland. Makes him look good, and it makes Ryland look really good. And Ryland has also gotten a lot of backlash off of all of this, and I think that in some ways, you know, I think Shane, he's very protective of the small people around him, Morgan and Ryland right now. And so I think that he will want to build Ryland up as well, which is understandable, right? I said he'll take accountability for his actions, mixed with lots of clips of he and Ryland and their family, save for once he feels he has a real family, people who love him and care about him. He'll talk about his passion for YouTube and that hasn't changed. He's coming back and hopes people will support him. Trisha said that he'll recover, so he's not leaving for good. That's the thing that's important to understand. She said he will recover. So whatever he's going to do is move to be back on YouTube. He won't be gone for good. This won't be his I'm leaving goodbye forever. He won't monetize this video in any way. It won't be a sponsored video. He won't have any ads on it or anything. And I kind of thought that he might do some kind of foundation or scholarship fund to kind of funnel that he and Ryland want to make a change in the world. And that from what he's learned, like he wants to help somebody on, it'll be like a scholarship to help somebody on YouTube or somebody in film school or something like that had the same dreams as he did, so that they don't have to go through what he went through and do all this kind of stuff to get to the top, that like maybe they'll have an extra, you know, edge or something like that. I thought he would do something like that, but I don't know, maybe not. I honestly kind of thought he might even at the end of it change his name back to Shane, which is, you know, his original name, not Shane Dawson, his stage name, because it would show like I'm back to who I was at the very beginning. And that's who I really wanted to be all along, and I've accepted that. I mean, we love that, right? We love when somebody can look at themselves in the mirror and accept and love themselves, I think. I think that's what we all want for ourselves, right? And if Shane can do that in this video, I think a lot of people will accept it and forgive him. I really, really do. So then he goes, I went on and I said, he'll tie it all together with the wedding, which will be small and just his family. He'll end it very much like Manny. I said, okay, with the social blade thing. He'll say he loves his audience and he wants to continue to make them happy, and he's going to try to do that. But at the end of the day, he's only human and he's going to continue to make mistakes, and that he needs to focus on his small family and what he loves doing. I said something about his changing his name, and then I said, I would be surprised if he brings other people into it or tries to address cancel culture, because it will all seem like he's victimizing himself, and he knows he can't do that. He has to take accountability. But he has made similar jokes even in his last few years. So I don't know how he'll pull back the last 10 years to like podcasts from just the last couple years. Even some of the jokes that he made in the Jeffree Star series. The other thing that he needs to be careful of is Trisha Paytas just came out against Shane Dawson. I'm not sure other people won't as well. So then there could be other people. I mean, Gabby Hanna has been implicated in a lot of this by myself, Trisha, and other people. You know, she might come out and say, what you said in this is a complete lie. There might be other people that will say, no, this is not Shane, okay? He has made these jokes. He does say these things behind the scenes. Who knows? That could come out. If he and Jeffree Star ever go there, I can't imagine Jeffree Star ever coming out against Shane Dawson, but I do see them possibly splitting at some point. His ego can't allow him to really take accountability, just reach over and do like a 5-minute video, okay? And I think that's important for people to understand. Unless he has really, really worked on himself and we see a completely different Shane Dawson, and then that way I will be completely mesmerized and surprised if he really just reaches over and talks to his people. If he were able to do that, he would simply talk to his audience and say he screwed up and he doesn't know what to do to make it right, but he wants to. That wouldn't be a project, as Trisha referred to it. It would simply be him talking to his audience. The fact that it is a project already indicates how manipulative whatever is coming will be. And that's what I feel like. So, you know, And that makes me sad, because then that makes me feel like here, furthermore, Shane Dawson doesn't really understand it. He's not taking accountability. He's not really working on himself. It's a project. How can I get back? Instead of just saying to the people that he has let down, you guys, I know I really disappointed you. Like, I screwed up. Like, I didn't even realize it was a problem, you know? And like, I don't know what to do about that 10 years, but I don't want to be that person today. And I want to continue to make videos for you guys because I love making videos and I love interacting with you. So I don't know what to do. So help me, right? That would be human. That would be simple. I don't think that he is able to do that, but who knows? I could be proven wrong. Let me know what you think it's going to be in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.